Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Timothy Chizmar on the line. He's president of SpookyNinjaKitty Media, and this episode is part of our AFM series where we're bringing you the best of those that attended the American film market, those that attended, presented, showed films, all of the above, really. So we've had a lot of fun bringing on guests from the event. And Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, anybody who is serious about a career in film, whether it be pre-production, post-production, distribution, networking, schmoozing, all of the above. If you want to be serious about the industry, over $1 billion worth of deals are settled at AFM.
Ooh, that's some money right there, Tim.
A lot of us are very money motivated. You know, it's great to get in it for the art, but a long time ago, a couple of friends of mine from NBC told me at some point in your career, you have to choose between art or money. And the truth is, if you don't choose money, you're not going to be able to make more art. And that's where it comes down.
Oh, man, I love it. Been dropping the words of wisdom to get us kicked off here. For yourself, just a little background. So AFM, have you been in the past? I know this year, and I want to get into that as well. I know you screened the film Naked as Created, so I want to get into that too. But before that, have you been to AFM before? Is this the first time? Have you been multiple years? Just curious in the background.
Sure. I've been around AFM for many years. I had went to after parties and gatherings and screenings, but I felt like an imposter in that I always felt like those are the cool kids. Those are the cool kids sitting at the cool table, and I'm sitting at the nerd table. And so I was on the outskirts of it until last year they brought AFM out of the Southern California area, and they brought it to Las Vegas. And I live in Las Vegas, and I said, gosh darn it, I'm going to go. I'm going to check it out. I applied for a press pass for a website I write for, firstcomicsnews.com, and I went there. I did videos and interviews and write-ups, and what I discovered was a lot of my peers have elevated to that next level. The people who I associate with were running panels, were being given lifetime achievements like Lloyd Kaufman from Troma, etc. So I realized, oh my goodness, I had slept my way by doing the industry. I now am at that level, and by goodness, it was an amazing, eye-opening experience where it was like, you know what, I make movies, I sell TV shows, I have projects out there, I get paid, I'm doing it. Yeah, I don't do a $400 million Marvel film, but you know what, very rarely do people. So at this point, this year I brought my team, my COO, Lisa Ann Bahrain, my art director, Melody Munson, and the three of us screened one of my 5-picture slate at the festival. We took all the meetings, we attended panels, we attended after parties, and now I'm in some big negotiations. And it's a lesson to everybody out there to stop putting yourself down and saying that you're not good enough. It turns out when you step up, you are right on the level with everybody else.
Oh, man, I love it. You got that big film energy right now, man. Let's get it. I was speaking of the films. Let's get into Naked as Created. So how do you want to tee this one up? I know you screened it at AFM. How do you want to tee this up?
Right. And so Naked as Created, the Pastor Jim Moore story, is inspired by a true-life incident where there was a pastor of multiple mega churches in Texas who, on the down low, him and his family were nudists. They would go to nude beaches, nude resorts in a non-sexual but body-positive, going back to Eden sort of way, a very natural nature, a way that other countries appreciate more than we do here in the United States. So Spain, France, places like that, they have a better understanding of the human body. His family would attend these resorts. Well, somebody within the church structure used that to get him ostracized, to get him fired, to get him kicked out, to get him to lose his position, and everyone started chattering about the pervert, the weirdo, the this and that. And so this tells the story about him and his fall from his position and ultimately going through losing friends, losing family, considering suicide, and eventually finding his way back through the word of the Bible and what God has to say about non-sexual nudity. And then it's not some pervy thing, but instead nowadays he runs a nudist ministry. He does naked weddings, naked baptisms, and it's an entirely different thing. So it's a very original story and not something that you see very often. So it got people talking. You know, it's truly art for art's sake. It's a Christian film with nudity. What do you do with that? It's very exciting. Got a lot of people talking. Yeah.
How did you come upon that project? I'm curious, and I asked this question more so because I also want to get just a look into your process and how you select what you're going to work on.
Sure. In that particular instance, his father, the pastor's father, had a series of books that were similar to like Jack Reacher, but for Christians. So it was like an action-packed Christian series called One Time Messengers, and they wanted to adapt that into a film. So they hired me, and we put together an adaptation screenplay and then a rippermatic, which is where you use existing footage to show the gist of what your movie would be like. And it's not breaking any laws because you're not trying to sell it. You're simply using it as a trailer to show people what the vibe, a proof of concept, what the vibe would be like. So we worked on that, took some meetings, and tried to get that made. And along the way, more and more people asked about him and his story. Well, it would make a great movie, his story, this guy, the naked preacher. And lo and behold, we said, all right, well, let's give it a shot. And we leaned in on his congregation, and by hook or by crook, the money was raised. We shot the film. And, there was a huge fire in Southern California, the Eaton fires that destroyed a lot of Southern California. We were filming the movie during those fires. We got 2 days in before we got kicked out of our soundstage. We got kicked out of the resort property. And so we ended up finishing this feature film during the fires, which just adds an extra layer of the lore around it.
Wow, I'd say so. Well, when you were making this film, I can't even imagine that being there during the fires and seeing all of that. I'm guessing, did any of that kind of footage, I haven't watched it yet, did any of that footage make it in?
No, because it would change the overall arc of
Got it. I was wondering. No, I was wondering. I was just wondering, like, what it... No, but I mean, like, it wasn't, like, you filming out there wasn't a waste, right? Like, you still got to... I don't mean, like, you were putting the fires in there. I mean, like, did any of it make it in? Like, you still got to use it, right?
We, at one point, over the end titles of the movie, we had footage of the fires, but we limited that down to an overall shot of the fires, and we just mentioned that it was filmed during...
I got you.
This horrible instance. And then we kind of leaned in on it was shot
production, man.
On actual hellfire.
My heart's with you. That's obviously our hearts with everybody that went through that, of course. But you're out there trying to get it done, and then you have talk about a curveball, right? Like in production for all the filmmakers listening. I mean, that's a story.
And the response from the reviewers and from the people who've seen it, we are nominated for 2 awards from Film Threat, which does the award this ceremony every year. About a few years back, I was nominated twice for a comedy I did. And then last year, I won Best Independent Horror Movie last year. And this year, we're nominated in 2 categories for this pastor film. So it's very exciting as a young studio we finished 2 features this year, and this one was nominated for 2. So, woohoo!
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations. That's a great achievement. And you mentioned earlier that you have 5 different films slated that you're working on. What are the status of some of these? Like, what can you tell us?
Sure. Naked as Created is already screening, and we're taking offers. I'm literally going back and forth with various distribution partners right now about the right fit for it, because I know this comes as a shock, but there are some scammers out there within the Hollywood community, and you want to make sure that the deal you make doesn't put you in the hole. You want to make sure that it's on the up and up. So we're taking those meetings now. Naked Alien Massacre is in post-production. We just finished shooting that about a month ago in Northern California. That's aliens around a resort property. We have a sequel to The Noodles of Noodlin', My Big Fat Naked Wedding, which is in pre-production right now. One Time Messengers is still being adapted, which is the Jack Reacher Christian movie. And then something we're real excited about that's getting a lot of buzz, I have a meeting with Jackrabbit Media in a little bit today, is a film called Babies with Rabies. And it's very wild and crazy and fun, and it uses a bunch of pro wrestlers, Penn and Teller, Jake the Snake Roberts, the lead singer of Rancid. And it's very... Yeah,
the people that you just named, I'm just throwing this out there, Tim, the people you just named, I'm like, okay, where does this come together? I love it. This is good. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you're a wrestling fan, you'd know who Edge is. So Adam Copeland, Edge, Patch. We have Jake the Snake Roberts. We have Gangrel. We have Hurricane Helms. I mean, it's just on and on and on. So it leans into some of the superhero tropes that are popular right now. But also you got Babies with Rabies. And some of the bigger names we're in negotiations with, I wish you would definitely recognize and you would know. And they're on the cusp. If we can bring in the funding, which hopefully this will work out with Jackrabbit, because I feel pretty good about them. But yeah, man, so it's an exciting time. I mean, things are coming together, and I just love watching all this stuff get realized, actually be there.
What's your favorite part about being a filmmaker and putting these works out? Like, what do you love about it?
I love bringing the team together. Like the set of NAMM in Northern California, it's like a little makeshift family. It's a chosen family in all the different positions, from the special effects people to the crew to the filming to the actors to the stunt people to the locations. I mean, just for you all to come together to create this art and to put the best that you have out there into the world, and then see who it touches. You know, there's at least 3 movies that you make. There's the one you write, the one you shoot, and the one you edit. But then there's the one that the fans see. You know, what is their interpretation of this? Then there's the one the critics see. How do they see this? And then there's what stands the test of time. There have been amazing movies that came out and even swept the Oscars, and then, 5 years later, nobody even recognizes the name. 10 years later, it's gone. It's the loss of time. And then you've got a little something that becomes a cult hit, and it's playing in theaters, and people are sharing a Blu-ray of it, and, there's in-jokes, and it's so quotable, and that's what we want. We want to make a dent and have art that's remembered for years to come.
I love it. I'm a big fan of this, and this is one of my favorite events that I cover, AFM, because getting to talk to the filmmakers and the individuals, and I get to see, like, year over year as new projects get realized. I opened up one of the magazines, I don't remember one. It was one of the, obviously they have a ton of the film ones there, and I'm looking at them, and as I'm thumbing through the pages, I'm, like, recognizing people that have been on the show and directors and actors, and I'm like, oh, it's fun, like, going through all this. It's kind of like, I like how you said that. It's like your chosen family. And over time, it's also fun, I feel like, to watch people progress in their career, which you mentioned, like when you were at the Vegas show, and you're like, wait a minute, these are my people, right?
Yes. At one of the party I was at, there was a guy sitting next to me who was on the cover of Variety. So
wow.
These aren't wannabes. These aren't wishful dreamers. These are people who are making it happen. They're actually getting out there, and they're not letting anything stand in their way. And that's what I feed off of. That's what energizes me. That's what motivates me, because the world is full of, I'll do it tomorrow. Well, guess what? Someday isn't on the calendar. There's Monday, there's Tuesday. There's not someday. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. Yeah, if you wait for the right time, there is no right time.
That's a great way to end it. Some days not on the calendar. Tim, how do people follow up? How do they follow your journey? How do they follow SpookyNinjaKitty Media, your social, website, see your films? Like how do people connect?
Sure. I'm on Facebook, Timothy Chizmar. I'm also, the website SpookyNinjaKitty Media is for the overall company. We are a publishing house. We do books, we do comics, we do movies. And NudistHumorist.com is for more of the body positive, clothes-free opportunities. And I'm happy to connect with people in anywhere. You can find us, SpookyNinjaKitty Media, Spooky_Media on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, Nudist Humorist. And let's make more art.
Fantastic. Everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Tim, man, again, congrats on the filmthreat.com accolades and the film screening. And man, you're in a row. Congrats, and thanks for coming on.
Of course, brother. If you're around the end of January in Southern California, come to the Award This event. You can be on the red carpet and stuff. I'd love to see you and shake your hand.
Oh, man, game on. It's a deal.